Well, look, man, now that you're here, we got to talk about one thing only. Freaking FNAF. Five Nights at Freddy's, boy.
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's was sick, dude. I wasn't like a firm fan or anything like that, but after I saw that movie, I was telling Gerry I like pretty much stayed up until like 11 or whatever time it was, like about an hour and a half after we were done with the movie, just looking at the lore for each game. And those characters were interesting, man. It was a really fun ride. Was it Matthew? What is it? What's his name?
Yeah, Matthew Lillard.
It's really worth just to see him act in that movie, even though he's like kind of not really here and there.
I don't know if you heard the voice in the everybody knows the voice when you answer the phone. Hello.
Yeah,
he sounds just like him. And like in the games when Willie Naftum actually has like voice lines, he sounds like very better than you, and I feel like he did a good job trying to portray who that guy is, because Willie Nafton is an asshole and Matthew Lillard is the last person I would like guess would be him, but he did such a good job, man.
Reading up on the lore, like he's portrayed as obviously like a serial killer who can do no wrong, bro. Like his absolute goal is to just do literally whatever he wants, in the pinnacle of him just being immortal, and he'll do whatever he wants to get that. He sees no wrong in what saw from the end of that movie. He really like sold that to me. I was like already hook, line, and sinker. Like, oh man, like I should probably play Five Nights 3 or whatever one where Karina was talking about, where you're like
watch
after on the floor.
Just watch Let's Plays, dude. From there, I got a lot of the lore. I think when they first announced that they were making the movie, I had to go back and rewatch all of Markiplier's Five Nights Let's Plays. But from what I gathered, it's the lore is pretty. There's sort of two universes, but not really. I don't know. I have to like go back.
Yeah, I was talking to some coworkers about that. Like the movie's more based on the books, I guess, because the books have like a little bit different lore compared to the games. Like I was surprised with the movie. I enjoyed it. Oh, I know where that's from. I know where that's from. Oh, what's going on? Taking a different direction than I thought the games were.
Yeah, I was satisfied with the direction. Story is still there. It's not really that big of a change to notice, honestly. Like if you just saw like, oh look, there's animatronics, but like that's all you saw of Five Nights at Freddy's, this would be pretty good. Going in knowing the lore, it's like they did take their time with this, and they try to get some things right, and that's appreciated.
Can I just say I think that they're most successful in the fact that they didn't really deviate from the premise of the game and how the game is played. What was his name? Mike? And what Mike had to do during Five Nights, and then just pretty much the core principle of the click and point games, right? Before they introduced like all the other mechanics in the other sister games. Like that's where they got all of the influence from, was those original games there. I think that the movie is successful because they didn't change. They stuck with that and they made it work in a theatrical setting. If you try to take, and we compare this to, I mean, it was in like a show basis, but I still think it's the same. Like Halo, for example. A lot of those episodes didn't really revolve around any actual fighting or anything like that. It's more just politics and drama and sex and all this other stuff. And it's like totally taking away from what the premise of the game was and what you were supposed to experience as a Spartan. I don't know, if they were going to do other movies or like other shows, that they should really take that into account, like how successful Five Nights was, because they were able to just stick with it. And I don't really think that has anything to do with how simple the game actually works. Just like Gerry was saying, they really took their time into implementing how can we put this and like fit it into like a movie aspect.
You don't just completely work the fucking script. You stick to it. You got to take creative liberties. Everybody understands that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just got to make sure they're nice.
Yeah, which is why I am excited for that Death Stranding movie. Even though Kojima's not directing it, it's not a one-to-one of the game. It's going to be like its own story. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see what they do.
Norman Reedus?
I hope so. It'd be kind of weird if Norman Reedus isn't Sam Porter Bridges.
He's definitely in Kojima's ear. You were the only one that played Death Stranding, was that right?
Oh, yeah, you didn't play it yet, huh, Gerry?
No, not yet. That is a time and a half that I need to work myself up to.
How many hours did it take? Did you platinum that game?
Yeah, I platinumed it twice.
How long did that take you?
Well, to be fair, the second plat was director's cut, so most of the trophies carried over. I just had to do a couple more missions or deliveries to get those last trophies to pop again. It took me... Oh, what did it take me? Like like 60 to 80 hours to beat the game. I hit like, I think around 100 when I got the plat. If you play it right, you could plat it a lot sooner, because I didn't really... one of the trophies is you have to do the hard rank deliveries and get S ranks, and I was just doing like the normal ranks the whole time. And then you have to play on hard mode too. So there's that, which isn't too bad. Death Stranding it's really Kojima diving into his movie era, because it's literally just a movie.
I'm ready for this.
Yeah, I will be interested to see what the movie would be. It might just be something like introduction into the world, like something simple, not too crazy. And it's like, oh, if you want to dive in even wilder, just play the game.
I have PlayStation Extra, and I think the Gold Edition is included.
Yeah, I recommend Director's Cut, just because it's like the PS5 upgrade. And then you get the PC stuff on there. So you'll get the collab items from Cyberpunk, and I think the other one's Half-Life, if I'm not mistaken. The Half-Life stuff is good, because it's actually functional and would help you with your missions.
Is it a grind to get the stuff?
I think you have to do a couple missions to unlock the items, and then you could just use them. Or you have to craft them, and then you can use them.
Do you get a Christmas outfit?
Oh yeah, I think you get a Santa hat, actually.
Fuck yeah.
There's some fun stuff in there. I always rocked, so like if it rains or snows, your suit automatically puts the hood on, so that way timefall doesn't go on you. And then when you do, I think it's Conan, you unlock a different hood, and it's just like a sea otter thing that inflates. It's pretty cool.
Oh my god, that's cute. Oh man, that gets me excited for we were just talking about this the other day too. Is it a remake, or is it just an HD remaster that's being ported for Metal Gear Solid 3?
Oh, HD is the dream, but no, it's you're talking about Delta. Right, it's a remake.
Delta, yeah. It's a remake, so it's going to be in the PS5 engine.
I think they're using Unreal 5.
Wow, this is going to be a $70 game.
Oh, well, yeah, it'd be $70 regardless with Konami and all that. It looks okay. I know a lot of Metal Gear fans don't really like it.
Why? Jerry, do you like it? Why don't you like it?
Man, Metal Gear fans don't like anything, dude. It's not without cause, because fucking the whole Konami Kojima thing and what it's turned into now is pretty much just a giant ass cash grab. Like I've told you guys last night, 2 franchises that I've completely given up hope on is Silent Hill and Metal Gear. I don't mind it. If anything, I'd rather just go back and play the original, just because I'm not a fan of the Metal Gear Solid 4 camera where you could just have free movement. I like the fixed movement. I'm probably like the last person to ask this, because I like Metal Gear already, and as it is by itself, I'm excited. But that's full disclosure, I didn't buy the Master Collection Volume 1 right now. Those are a lot of games, and that's a lot of time, especially like because I can tell you for a fact, if I get it, I'm probably not going to touch the Metal Gear for the Nintendo. Like the very first Metal Gear, just because it's like does not translate well. Controls are still wonky. But everything else I'd probably just dip in my toe into. But I like it. I just don't like the fact that it's kind of a cash grab.
Oh, the collection?
It's Metal Gear. Yeah, the collection, yeah.
Yeah, everybody's hating on it because it looks bad. No upscaling. A lot of stuff is, like, I think frame locked. And it's just a bad port overall from what I've heard. But the only saving grace, I guess, is when they were data mining this first collection, they found files relating to MGS4. I guess that means Volume 2 is going to take 4 out of its PS3 prison.
I'm not the biggest fan of 4, just because like it's cutscenes after cutscenes. But
it's basically 50-50, right?
I like watching it, so that means other people will play it.
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
The reason why people hate Snake Eater Delta right now, Oscar, is because, one, no Kojima. Kind of weird you want to remake a game without Kojima. It's not really going to feel the same. It just looks, quote-unquote, soulless, right? Because it's on Unreal. It's not, like, on any kind of engine. I guess they're just reusing audio files from original Snake Eater. So that brings the question of what's even the point of remaking the game if you're not reusing new stuff.
That or some new files, like new voice files in, just because like some like buttons don't translate well and shit. I don't know if they actually used the actual actors or AI though.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they freaking brought back David Hayter to promote the Metal Gear collection.
Was MGS2 or MGS3 one of the games that had a mechanic where you could like beat a boss by plugging in a second controller?
Oh,
do you remember that, Jerry?
It's 1 and 4 actually. But since 1 was the Psycho Mantis fight, he just does some stupid shit, and then you gotta like change controller ports. And then 4 with Screaming Mantis, It's the same thing. Otacon calls you. He's like, switch the controller port. Oh, wait! This is the PlayStation 3! Snake, there are no controller ports! And you just fucking switch the settings. Dude, Otacon turns into such a Chad that game, man. It's so cool.
Oh, I guess another thing for the collection is they removed the Ape Escape crossover.
No more bananas.
Delta was on the PSP? Or am I thinking of a different one?
No, Delta's a new one coming out. Peace Walker and Portable Ops. I don't know if it was for the Vita, though.
Yeah.
And like Acid, right?
Oh, and Acid, yeah. Ghost Babel was for the Game Boy. Yeah, there's so much, dude.
I remember Peace Walker, I think it was. Like, you had a mission where you had to fight one of the monsters from Monster Hunter.
Oh, fucking Rathalos.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Was it a Rathalos? Oh my god.
It looks like a fucking Metal Gear Rex, bro. It's so sick. It has a railgun. Bro, it has an organ on its shoulder that's shaped like a railgun, and it's a fucking railgun. There's no metal. It's like a bone, and it shoots electromagnetic. It's so sick, dude. Oh, I want to go back and play it just for that. It's so good.
If they're going to be doing any of these remakes, and they're not going to be taking Kojima or anything into account, then they at least I would like to see something like that. If they can even bother to do that.
That's the big thing. They're not really doing much, right? I mean, all I know that they're doing is maybe collaborating with the Castlevania show.
That's another heartbreak. Yeah. The fact that they own that series just breaks my heart, bro. That's my favorite series. That and like Metroid, like the whole genre that they gave birth to, like the whole reason why I like roguelikes and scrollers, really breaks my heart, man. I hope that with the Netflix shows, it really brings some vigor back into at least this series in particular, and maybe they can do some sort of, I don't know. It would be nice if maybe they... What is the studio that does the remakes? Blue Point?
Oh, the Sony studio? Yeah.
That would be nice if maybe there are arrangements where they can like maybe have Blue Point work with them and they can make like a remake of one of the old Castlevania games or something. Like Symphony of the Night would be sick, dude. And I mean like one of the real old ones, like do a new like in maybe like a 3D fashion. Kind of like going off topic, but like just with Castlevania, the guy that did Castlevania left and then he made
Curse of the Blood Moon, right?
Yeah. But he made like more than just that title, because the other titles are like the old ones, like side scrollers, like Metroidvanias. Mm-hmm. The one that I'm thinking of, Curse of the Blood Moon, is the only one that is that involves like like the 3D aspect. It's still like super nice. Like I can definitely see them doing more. Maybe if they did like Rondo of Blood.
Yeah, I forgot Konami does the Yu-Gi-Oh games too, so that's what they've just been doing lately.
You're breaking my heart. I'm just remembering things as we go along. I'm not gonna lie, the Yu-Gi-Oh games aren't that bad.
You can't really mess up Yu-Gi-Oh. Well, I mean, the new cards mess it up, but like as far as like playing it.
But I think that when you're looking for matches, you can like filter what type of people you're fighting, like who are using what cards in their extra deck and stuff like that. I don't remember who it was. I think it was you yesterday. Weren't you looking at like patch notes or something? God, it was somebody. Somebody was looking at patch notes involving some game with cards, and it's just like now you can like when you battle somebody and like let's say you win or lose, like you can just replay them. You can replay their deck, right? So it's like you're playing a computer version of the person that you were just playing, so that you can practice if you want to like edit your deck to make it better to like counter it.
That's what they're doing with Tekken.
Or was it Tekken? That was probably mentioned.
Well, yeah, one of the new features for Tekken 8 is like that. Like after a match, you can just hop into training mode. And the AI will just play what the opponent did, so that way you can see what you did wrong or do some variations and stuff.
Talking about Tekken 8, I did play the beta when it came out. I got into the closed beta, and I got to play June. She was really sick, dude. Like, honestly, like I was going to pick up King, but then I started with June first, and I was like, you know what? This is a lot better. Her pickups are really smooth. They teach you about, like, all the new mechanics. Like, you can basically do a combo to start your overdrive. Instead of just pressing R2 or something like that. So they all have like pickup combos that'll eventually go into that chain and activate at the end of the chain. And so a lot of the new mechanics that they introduce is pretty sick.
No, yeah, I'm so hyped for Tekken, man. It looks so good. Nice. Like we just got the newest character, Victor, showed off the first French character in the series, and just another badass old man. He's just so cool.
Aside from a lot of the new characters, I really wanted to see, I guess, Yoshimitsu.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't playable.
Every iteration of Yoshimitsu is probably, like, better than the last, I think. I don't think there was ever an iteration of him that I didn't like. Especially when they started introducing, like, all, like synthetic alien mechanic shit, Like, it's just so cool.
His tentacle look in 7, yeah, Yeah.
And it's the same Yoshimitsu every time, though, right?
I think so.
I
Or
guess
is it like
so.
a different one off the Munji bloodline?
I don't know the lore.
Because I like to believe like the Tekken lore for Yoshimitsu. I like to believe that it's actually the same one since the beginning. Like he's just really fucking old. It does make sense. Like he might be another of the Manji clan like for every game since like he was in Soul Calibur. Remember? We don't know if that's the same one or if that's another. Like if Yoshimitsu's a title, not a name.
Yeah, I'm super hyped. The only thing I'm bummed out about is there's only one more character slot as of this recording that hasn't been revealed yet, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to be Bob. Yeah. I only hope that he'll be DLC.
He had a good run, dude.
Let's get that Slim Bob action. Just bring him back. Why not?
Or maybe give him like an action heat where he like changes form.
Yeah, if it's not Bob, I really hope it's going to be a new character. Everyone was given MK1 flack because it's like, there is literally no new characters in this game. This is insane. And then I look over here and I'm like, oh, we only have 2 new characters, which is pretty crazy because Tekken 7, like a third of that roster are all new characters. So to see them really hold back on that's kind of wild.
I think that they probably took a page from Mortal Kombat, where it's just like your universe is so large. If we think back to Tekken Tag 2, how many characters are in that fucking game?
Everyone's in there.
Right, and that was like around the time that Tekken 6 was out. They could definitely like bring in like a season or 2 or 8, right? Because they were still releasing characters. I think it was like 5 or 6 years later after Tekken 7 was out. I don't really feel like they're going to have a problem with bringing in whoever they want from their roster or adding new characters, I guess. I feel like it would be better if they just brought back other characters.
Yeah, I mean, so far with the roster, it's pretty much all the standard characters you would expect to see. And then, yeah, we did get some new people back, like Raven, right? But you really just swap him out for the other Raven from 7. We get June back. Leroy's in the base roster this time.
Asuka was in the base roster, too.
Mm-hmm.
She was in DLC.
Yes,
yeah.
my girl.
Zafina. Well, Asuka she was in DLC for 7.
Yeah, she was the DLC for 7.
Was she?
Yeah, she was one of the DLC for 7.
Wasn't.
Was she was in the base game, or she wasn't in it?
No, Asuka was in 7. But yeah, most of the picks make sense because it's like Road Warriors, right, for Street Fighter. It's like, yeah, they're always going to be there. People like Claudio,
Oh, yeah.
It's like, yeah, nobody plays Claudio, but he's technically part of the story, so that's why he's back. Oh, yeah, freaking Devil Jin is back, which is crazy.
That's right.
That was really cool. I actually wasn't aware of, like, the lore. Like, I didn't know Zhao Yu and Jin were, like, a couple. Or, like, I guess, like, were meant to be a couple.
Couple's a word. Yeah.
Where the fuck did this Chinese lady come from? Or Jin, a Japanese native, is just like, hey.
No, they were schoolmates.
The high school trio, Huarang, Jin, and Zhao
This
Yu.
motherfucker's the same age as Huarang. I thought Huarang was just like...
Did you not watch
Okay,
the Netflix show?
No.
Oh,
No.
I recommend it. It's basically just Tekken 3. But yeah, I recommend... Here, I'll look up the video. There was, I think it's called The Insane World of Tekken or something. It's like a 2-hour video of this non-fighting gamer going through the story, and it's so funny.
Yeah.
Non-fighting gamer?
Yeah, The Insane Lore of Tekken. Yeah, it came out last year. It dives into like the main plot and like a bunch of other subplots and stuff that are really funny. Oh, who was it? With Joey? Is it Joey? Joey Jr.? What's his name? The Kangaroo?
Yeah.
Is it Joey?
Dude.
Roger. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
in Tekken. It's Tekken 4 or 5. Roger Senior goes missing, so Roger Jr. and his mom go to try to find him, and then when they find him, he's just hanging out in a hot tub with like other kangaroos because he wanted a break from his family.
Fuck yeah.
Everybody needs to take a break, you know?
I never thought Roger would be a deadbeat.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so funny.
Would have got that from Alex, but not from Roger. Remember Alex, the
raptor? Oh,
raptor?
Yeah. Yep.
The Raptor. Yeah, he was. They were all in Tekken Tag 2, right?
Yes.
Fuck
That was the last
yeah.
time
Do
we
you
saw those
remember
boys.
what was the name of the possessed training doll?
Yeah,
Mokujin. Or
Mokujin.
Tetsujin, one of them. Tetsujin's the metal one.
Yeah, it's Mokujin.
And then there's Panda and Kuma.
And yeah, speaking of those two, like, I'll be fair for Tekken with the lack of new characters is that they also like reworked a bunch of characters. Like freaking Kuma, he's gonna have some Heihachi movesets in his roster now.
Yes! It's about time, dude.
He just knows Heihachi martial arts, and he inherited it.
Bro, he knows Demon Slayer? Fuck.
Yeah, it's
dude.
gonna be crazy. And then with Panda's getting some of Zhao Yu's moveset too.
Hey, that's what's up. Gotta love that.
So they evolved some of these characters around a little bit.
Dude, Panda also schoolmates.
Yes. Yeah.
I think they all went to the school together.
Yeah, Panda would go with Xiaoyu to the school, and then during the Tekken tournament, Kuma, which remember Kuma is technically Kuma Jr. because his dad died in one of the games, and he took over the mantle. Oh. Kuma fell in love with Panda and is trying to win her heart. And all she says is like, "Oh, you're just too old for me."
Dude, I remember that in Tekken Tag, like for the PS2, in like every time you go through like the story mode for somebody, you get a cutscene at the end.
Yes.
And it shows Kuma. For Kuma, it shows him with the flowers trying to like woo Panda, and then Panda just fucking walks away, and then Kuma like just fucking drops to his knees and drops the flowers. All the girls go with Panda, and all the guys like comfort Kuma.
Tekken's so fucking cool, man. But dude, Oscar, I recommend it. Play the arcade mode for Tekken 7 only for the Akuma stuff because it's so fucking cool.
Yeah, I think he's literally there just to fight, what's her name? Kasumi, right?
So Kazumi made a contract with Akuma to where when she dies, she wants him to kill Heihachi and Kazuya because they have the devil gene. And so the first time you fight him is with Heihachi, and it's a pretty even match. And then Heihachi's like, "Why did you wait this long to kill us if you've had all this time?" He's like, "Well, I just wanted to wait for you guys to get stronger so that way the match wouldn't be as boring."
Oh. That's such a fucking
Heihachi
thing.
has a double gene? I thought the mom had the double gene.
Oh no, you're right. But she wanted to kill Heihachi anyways.
Yeah, she did want to kill Heihachi.
Because fuck Heihachi, right? And Heihachi's like, "What the fuck?" And then the building collapsed, and so Akuma just leaves. And the next time you see him is he fights Kazuya and just fucking whips his ass, dude. And like the only reason why Kazuya doesn't lose, I think, is because he activates a laser from space or something and stops the fight. And then at the end of the game, Kazuya and Heihachi, when they fight, and Kazuya unlocks basically his Sin Devil trigger and goes like full demon mode and wins, there's a bonus mission after that where you have to fight Akuma. And it's back on the lava stage, and it's so fucking awesome. And Akuma just whoops your ass and then just leaves. So awesome.
Yeah.
Tekken 7 was so dope. They really just went all out with like all those characters. What are your thoughts or hopes, if any, on Tekken X Street Fighter?
I don't think it's ever gonna happen.
I forgot that.
See, it's kind of crazy. I was talking to a friend a while back when they were showing off gameplay for the first time for Tekken 8. How crazy is it that Street Fighter has Drive Impact, and now Tekken 8 has the I forget what it's called, like the hype drive, like, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, like the heat.
Yeah,
drive,
the heat drive. Yeah, it's like they're both very similar mechanics.
Now would be the time to do it.
And yeah, now more than ever is it the time. Like 7 proved that yes, we can totally grab Street Fighter characters and implement them in Tekken and have them still be faithful. Because that was the big problem with Cross Tekken, is that it was just Street Fighter inputs on these Tekken characters. They didn't want that.
Yeah.
With Fakuram, the Muay Thai player, might as well have been Sagat. Like his body type, his height. It's like maybe they just pulled his model that they were working on.
Who's the other guy? Murdoch? I think Murdoch's in Tekken, right?
Yeah, he was DLC for 7.
Yeah, he reminds me of Murdoch a lot.
I'm still going off that quote from Harada. And basically he said, well, both Street Fighter and Tekken are doing really good right now, so I don't really see why we would have to make a crossover game at this point. That's kind of fair, I guess, but I still want it.
The only reason why you would do it is because we want it. That's why.
Yeah.
Like, fuck if your game is doing good. We know your game is doing good, obviously. That's why we want it. Mm-hmm. Like, it goes hand in hand.
Well, I guess also, like, the fighting game landscape also kind of changed recently. The anniversary for the first Tekken Tag came out. Harada was talking about that game. He was like, yeah, like 6 months after Tekken 4... I think it was Tekken 4. I was already working on Tekken 4.5, and that became, Tekken Tag. Fighting games now don't need that short of a lifespan because there's the World Tour stuff, all the community things, season passes. I can understand why having games in between main titles are not a necessity anymore. I want Cross Street Fighter so bad. Give me Tekken Tag 3, dude. It'd be so good.
Oh, Tekken Tag.
But who knows if we're ever going to see that.
Actually, I think that we might. And this is just a speculation that I have. I get the feeling that we are in the crux of like a situation where we could end up going back to handheld. The way that they're trying to pivot like streaming consoles onto your handheld versus, you actually just having the handheld itself. It works to an extent, but they're leaving the impression that you're just not going to leave your fucking house. Or that somehow, if it's like anything like the PS Vita, that you're going to get some sort of mobile SIM card like that they used to do with T-Mobile. And that way you can just stream whenever you want. And that wouldn't be a bad idea. But no, if they do decide that they're eventually going to make a handheld console and not just like a handheld streaming device, then I can probably see like those niche games coming back, because they're going to try to make some sort of platform for them versus just porting the actual game.
Yeah, I could see that for the Nintendo side of things, like for Switch 2 or whatever they're going to call it, to try to make fighting games work on there, like MK1's on there, but let's be real, you don't want to play MK1 on the Switch.
I've seen it. No, you don't.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to them. They were able to fit it on a cartridge and not have it do cloud streaming, but oof, like, yeah, like you would have to basically make a different type of game, or at least graphic-wise, to have that on that kind of dated console. But I don't know, like with the Steam Deck and the what was the other company, Razer or somebody?
Yeah.
They also have like their version of the Steam Deck. It's like those can run these games fine for the most part. It's just a matter of battery life, I guess. You know, if you want to run it at like 60 frames or whatever. But yeah, I wish crossover games will still happen. I mean, I think Capcom's still going to do that. Like if they ever make a new Marvel game, I could see that happening just because of the big following.
Yeah, like if everything goes in that direction, we do get a lot of crossovers that come back. I would want MVC2 to come back. Just cut the bullshit. And I don't want the arcade version. I want the console version. Yeah, there were locked characters, locked BMGs, locked stages. Like you had to like earn that shit. You know what I mean? You had to get points, get better. Fight Galactus a couple times. That was great. Like that's how I got good at the game. Finding out how to use all of these characters, unlocking them little by little. When I bought BB Hood for my first time, kind of figured out her bread and butter. I was like, oh, I got this. It's pretty good. I don't use her anymore, but you know, like I said, it's a practice. I don't think Nintendo would ever go this far, but like things like Steam Deck make it possible for you to, you know, emulate things like PS2 or PS3. Like PlayStation gets this like to an extent, but the streaming service is what I don't like. I guess if they were more like interested in wanting to find a way for us to be able to download it like onto like the console storage, just like they do with like other PS2 games that they've already like basically ported into the PS4 store, PlayStation store. Mm-hmm. Like I can see this working. They added trophies to it. Like all of this. Like I know that they can do this, but they just prefer to do streaming because it's easier and because they can expand their library a lot. But it's just not feasible for everyone, especially not me, and that's why I'm bitching about it the most.
Okay, well, with one character left for Tekken, I'm hoping it'll be a new character. It would be nice if it's a crossover character to hype things up. I just hope that we finally get a Yakuza character in this game. And if I had to guess, it's probably going to be Ichiban, just because they don't want to have Kiryu in there.
Yeah, I can see that.
Maybe they'll throw him in there now since it was Nagoshi. He didn't really want Kiryu in a fighting game because he didn't want Kiryu to beat up women, even though he does in Project Cross Zone.
That's true. Yeah, him and Majima.
Yeah. But seeing as Victor, the new character, he kind of has like some stuff from Noctis mixed into his moveset. I'm like, oh, well, if you're going to get Ichiban in there, like you might as well throw some Negan tech in him since they both carry a bat, right?
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
All they need is just that alternate costume where he has his
his Dragon Quest armor?
Yeah. So fun, dude. My God. You both really have to start. I'm gonna iterate this again to you. You do not need to actually play all 1 through 6 or 0 through 6 to actually play 7.
But I want to, sir. That's not the point.
Yeah.
Okay, look.
Yeah.
Okay, Oscar. I know I don't need to read parts 1 through 6 to start Steel Ball Run. Okay, but I want to.
I'm gonna recommend that you do actually. I'm gonna say that's a little different.
No, dude, come on.
No.
You would recommend just start at Steel Ball Run for new fans? No way, bro.
I'm agreeing with you for 7. I'm saying for JoJo, like that's different. Like I agree with you for that. They should read 1 through 6 first.
Well, for me, I'm already at 6, so I want to see how they originally planned for Kiryu's story to quote unquote end. I'm just being lazy about it and not starting. You have to play it. I would play at least some of the games before 6, at least.
You gotta appreciate bad shit before you can
get
to the good stuff.
Well, freaking Akiyama, bro. Come on.
Yeah. I highly recommend 0, Kiwami 2. Like, if you're gonna jump into Yakuza, please try those games. Those games are so fucking fun. I mean, like, the new Dragon Engine and everything, the way that you level up. I played Kiwami first. And then I think I played 0 and then Kiwami 2. And by the time I got done with Kiwami, I was like, man, this is a good refresher from like every other type of game I've played recently. Like, it's just nice to have like a good sandbox beat 'em up, and the engine that it ran on. I remember back when I was little and like G4 was still a thing, and the show Cheat, you know, with Christina Wig, and she would like talk about Yakuza and Yakuza 2 and like how you'd end up getting like the secret boss fights with what's his face, the penultimate boss, you know, like all those things were really intriguing, and I had them stored in the back of my head for some reason, and I played all that stuff out, and it was just a real blast for me. Going into Zero, just having all that stuff to do with pure money, they only literally involve one type of currency, and that one currency takes over all aspects of the game, like leveling up, buying property, buying items, like anything. And I think that was a good idea too. It's nice, you know, it's very user friendly, like into the beat 'em up system. And then it's also just refreshing to know that you're gonna get like a revamp version of the story as it's reintroduced to you, or it's introduced to you, not reintroduced to you. You know, like they really took an effort into putting information into Zero, into showing you how Goro and Kiryu are both Kiryu and Goro. And then going into Kiwami and then Kiwami 2.
Yeah, Zero is still my favorite. I'll see what happens with 6, but yeah, I can't see anything topping 0 for me. 2 got really close, for sure, just because everyone's so cool in there, but I liked 4 just because it had Akiyama introduction, which was great. Ishin and 8 coming out, Gaiden, like those 3 games coming out like back to back, and I'm like, damn it, I'm so far behind now.
What is the new one that's about to come out?
Yeah, Yakuza Gaiden, the man who erased his name.
What does Gaiden mean again?
It's like a side story. Before I get out of here, we did get an email, from the boy Mark. He's back.
Oh, nice.
He says, welcome back. It is great to be back, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
It's funny, he's like, can't believe you guys were gone during the whole Twitter fiasco that is now just X. Literally all it is Elon Musk just doing a 20-year-old shitpost at this point. Because he wanted PayPal to be X.com. And now he's like, well, if I buy Twitter and I'm CEO, I'll just do that. Because he's not really the CEO for PayPal anymore or whatever. Right?
Like, I'm doing it to something.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to do something today with this fucking money I have. I'm doing something.
He really just needs to just dive into it and put an X in his name and just become a nobody, you know?
Bro, I was listening to him on the Rogan podcast. Dude, I laughed so hard. It's really sad, but I just died. Joe asked him, so when you bought X, like, how much was it? How much did it cost? And dude, and then like followed by like a good minute of silence, and you see Elon Musk just look down, and he's like, everything.
Yeah, those few first months were pretty wild for sure.
I heard they were gonna start charging to have a Twitter account.
That was an idea I heard.
He's just coming up with different ways on how he can actually generate revenue on the platform. Because as it stands, it generates revenue for other people, but not really for himself, other than use, you know.
Yeah, his whole big thing is he's trying to get rid of bots. If you're not a Twitter Blue member, you know, your posts and comments won't pop up as frequently. They're always going to be there, man. Like, there's really no point. So, anyways, the question he brought in, he doesn't really understand, like, the huge hype with Starfield. You know, Gerry, you mentioned that you took some days off from work to play it. It just kind of got him thinking, like, what are games that made you use a sick day to play? He says he's never done that before, but he will be doing that next year when FF7 Rebirth comes out.
That's right.
Yeah, there's a few games where it's worth it. The only time I did it was for Ratchet and Clank when it came out, because I was really hyped for it. That was back when I was streaming and I just went through the whole series. So I'm like, yeah, let's make a 3-day weekend happen and just dive into this game. I'll be on your defense, Gerry. Like, I get the hype for Starfield, because that was me with Death Stranding at a certain point, where I'm like, let me just hop in and just be in the game.
Exactly.
Just explore
the
everything.
Immersion.
Yeah, there was a point playing that game, like, I had all the, eventually you get, like, a tower you can build, so that way you could zip line to places. I had it mapped out for the entire second portion of the game, so that way it was the fastest way to go. You could go to every single spot, get all the S-rank stuff. And then when I was in Director's Cut, you know what? I'm hopping on the motorcycle. I'm just gonna drive my way through. And I was just lost in the sauce right there. So yeah, I get why you got to do something like that.
Yeah, you're driving for a while.
Yeah.
So like I can see you actually driving for 20 minutes, like when you're actually going from mission to mission and place to place, right?
Dude, there's a mission where you have to deliver a person I had the truck at the time, and when you have a person, they just sit in the passenger seat. And so I was just driving the truck on the highway, listening to music, and I'm like, hell yeah, this is it right here.
It's the little things. Like, you're not killing anybody. You're not doing puzzles. You're just driving.
You just took a day off of work so you can just drive, bro.
That's right. This is a Strand-like experience like no other, dude.
This is Strand gaming.
I don't know. My situation is a little different. The closest thing that I've come to, I guess, like just not working or like calling out. I don't think I've ever have done that. But I think if I would, it would have been for Elden Ring or God of War Ragnarok. Because I remember I was really excited and I was working when those games came out.
Elden Ring for sure. I was gonna say that too. Like, I think I took a couple days off for that. Just because even when I was at work, I was like, man, I want to play Elden Ring.
I got lucky with Elden Ring. I had a 3-day weekend the day that came out. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to not move for 3 days.
I didn't take the days off. It kind of just happened. Like, I slept too late, and I think I didn't take my alarm. Or I didn't set my alarm, and I just missed work. And then the other day, same thing happened.
I don't know if it still technically falls under his question, but I tell you what I would do is if I knew when a game that I do like is coming out, it's not really so much as I'm calling off as I would just request time off. I don't know if that really counts for you, Mark, but I would definitely do that. Like if they announce like
I would say that counts.
Yeah, I know Elder Scrolls or Fallout. I was actually just thinking the other day they announced like that Fallout in London or New England or at some point, right? And it's just like I've never seen anything since, so
yeah.
Hopefully something like that comes out soon.
I mean, Japanese businessmen, they request like 2 weeks off to play a new Monster Hunter whenever it comes out.
2 weeks is not enough.
Dude, I remember, I forget which one it was. It was like one of the more recent Monster Hunter games. They had to make an announcement that like, hey guys, we're letting you know early, the game's gonna be delayed. So if you requested time off, you have to change it now. Because they know how big of an impact to the corporate world Monster Hunter is.
Dude. For real, dude.
It's so crazy.
Talking about grinding every day in real life, Monster Hunter is a grind, okay? Something that Bungie should have done.
Fuck. Fuck Bungie.
Yeah, we don't want to... Yeah, screw them and... Yeah, at least Destiny's almost over.
I was listening to the official podcast and I heard Jackson say like, yeah, I'm just in it to the final shape. I agree with that, dude, because it's... After all this shit that happened, just like... I'm a big fan of the music, and the fact that they just did that is so fucking flabbergasting, dude.
Yeah, it was messed up.
I'm already in it. They got like all of my money already. I'm not pre-ordering the final shape. I'm just gonna play it just to end the story, and then after that, goodbye Bungie. Like, fuck you.
You're not gonna get the annual pass. You're just gonna get the regular one.
Fuck no, dude. I don't think I got it for Lightfall.
Are you buying the seasons?
Probably the season passes. Yeah, we'll see. Honestly, because I haven't been using the exotics you've been getting like at all.
Oh, neither have I. And it's funny too, Danny, because it's the exotics that they're dropping, these seasonal exotics. It's all the exotics that we've always talked about during the first Destiny. You remember when we run into a Boomer Knight and you're like, how come you don't get a Boomer Knight gun?
Yeah.
Like the exotic for this season is the Boomer Knight gun.
Literally 10 years too late, dude.
Do you remember when we used to do the thing with the gauntlet? Where you're fighting like Vex, Hive, or Ball?
Yep.
You get like a fourth horseman. No, it's not Gambit. It's like a...
You're talking about Prison.
Yeah, Prison of Elders. That's what it's called.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay, yeah.
Prison of Elders. Yeah, so like you do the Prison of Elders, and then in D1 they introduced what you already know, Gerry, like fourth horseman, Queensbaker bow, and then there was another exotic called the Dreg's Promise. That gun was ass. That's why they didn't bring it back.
Yeah.
Okay. They did bring those two guns over in Destiny, and they're like legacy exotics. Like no one barely uses them. I think people do use Fourth Horseman, to be fair with you, but that's more like a PvP thing. The annual pass for the final shape is going to Jerry's like half correct. Like they're technically concluding the end of the Light and Dark saga, and then they're just going to go straight into basically Aftermath, like consequences of what's happening. Like good or bad, you know what I mean? And that's basically what's happening now. Like who are the leftover remnants from, the enemies, like what is it, Beyond Light and Lightfall. So like Callus's his segment of Cabal that are still of course like on par with
the Shadow
your
Legion.
Cabal friend. Kaido's Legion. Yeah. So it's like a whole bunch of bullshit. I don't really think that Destiny's ever really gonna end. Like they're always gonna have enough room to keep going with consequences. Aftermath of who is this and who's next and what else is happening, right? It's not like Light and Dark is just going to go away, right? We're still missing I think we're still missing one more subclass. I want to talk about Bloodborne Kart. Did you see the trailer?
No, actually.
It reminds me of Crash Team Racing, or like Twisted Metal a little bit.
I love how the doll became the first place. Dude, this looks so good. With the pixelations, it's kind of hard to make out what's happening. But at the same time, like, this is so good. He did the Akira fucking thing. What? This is so fucking silly, dude. I love it. Oh, there's an arena mode? That's cool.
This is actually going to be multiplayer, bro. Like, we can actually do this.
I feel so bad for Gurman, dude. He's just fucking using his arms.
Even the werewolf is a character. Shouts out to Bunless Booster on Twitter, BOTSTER. They made the demake for Bloodborne 2. Yeah, it's going to be released January 31st. So they're talking about 12 characters, 16 maps. You can play the entire thing in single-player campaign mode. Yeah, there are boss fights. It's because I'm telling you, it's like a combination of Twisted Metal, like I don't know if you played the ones on the PSP, and like Crash Tag Racing.
This is why I love the internet. It's just a meme can be turned into like a full-fledged fucking game.
I'm in love with the local split-screen multiplayer. Like,
is it just local?
I think one thing that you could probably do, and this is definitely a bit technical, but you can probably get like a virtual keyboard and then have somebody share screen and then like assign buttons to their virtual keyboard that you're using, and that way they can probably play with you like through share screen.
Kind of reminds me about making a Minecraft server. Like, you're gonna have to go through your network and then port forward and then give that to other people. It's some work, and even more if you wanted to make it like safe, you have to put like a firewall and then give other people access to that. It'd be cool if it was like, you know, multiplayer online, but I can see like with a game like this, it would probably be better with local. Man, they got character creations and everything, dude. Oh my god.
So can I ask for Starfield? Is there a new game plus?
Yes.
Does your character like remember instances from the first game?
Yes, and only him. And there's dialogue options you can get where it's like if you beat the game already, you get like dialogue options whenever you do like missions in the new game. Like if you go do them again, you get new dialogue options. And like this recent one, like we had to go and kill a bunch of spacers. All these families had to team up, but like one of them doesn't trust one of the other ones. So I told them, and they're like, "You're gonna have to give me something because like I'm giving the most in this battle. Just trust me. We're all gonna make it out of this alive." And then she's like, "I don't know why, but you seem really sure of yourself." And like it's stuff like that. And she's like, "I trust you." When in like the previous game, you had to kind of persuade her or pay her for the fucking like for services.
So basically, New Game Plus, you pass all of your speech checks. You just pass them all.
Honestly, pretty much. That's exactly what happened. Yeah, like you just tell her like, "Yeah, we did this before. We're gonna do it again." And they're like, "Oh, okay,
great,
cool." It's awesome, dude.
Do they like recognize you as like some sentient being, or are you just you?
No, you're just you. You're still just you. But there are other people out there. There are NPCs out there that did the same thing you did. I'm trying not to spoil it. They're in the new game with you. And they're like, "Oh, it's about time I found you." And you're like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, no, I did the same thing too. I found the Unity. I sell to those people who pass through the Unity. Granted, at exorbitant prices, but being you, I'm sure you can afford that." And I'm like, "What the fuck? I come through this universe all fucking broke with no credits, and everything is like 100K." Like,
you didn't keep your money.
No, dude, you lose everything, dude.
Oh, you can't, that's great.
Like the saying goes, dude, you can't take it with you. So you start fresh. Like you just have a new suit and a new ship, and that's it. It's fun.
You don't keep your powers either.
It's a lot of no. Yeah, you keep those. Yeah, you keep those. But like everything else, everything physical is like it's gone. It takes some time though, like just to get there. That's why it's kind of like I get where Mark comes from, where he says like it's not. He doesn't get the hype. Like it's really something where if you play Fallout or Skyrim, you'll be more inclined to like it. But you're like, if like, I don't know, I like space. The whole sci-fi aspect to me, it's growing on me now, and the fact that it's pretty much Skyrim and Fallout in space, like it's great. I can kind of see where people don't get the hype because it's literally just that, like a told story, over and over again. This is a new take on it, which I like it.
I take games like Skyrim that you and I both played and platinumed this year. That game is more than 10 years old. It took a long time for you and for me to finally just sit down and actually absorb and do everything, even though we know so much about that game. Like that, the lore with Skyrim, whether you actually played it or not, everyone's heard of it. Everyone knows what Dovahkiin is. Everyone knows. The same thing with Fallout. Like, I play this game now, and I played it before, and every single time I played it since this game has been released, it's always something new that I've never done or just never bothered exploring. It's really, like, fun getting to explore and do all of these things. Introspectively, I think, like, when you take a game like Starfield and it's like you're saying, like, oh, okay, yeah, you do the same thing over and over again. Is it, though? Your character is aware that he's not doing the same thing over and over again. This is just something new, and they can add to that. You get different dialogue options, different perspectives of how things work out, and you can just do things differently.
There's more than one way to like complete a hideout. So it's like, it's not really the same thing over and over again, you know?
Replayability is key.
Yeah, oh, definitely, for sure. Like, that's one of the reasons why I keep, like, opening the game and not stopping after the New Game Plus. I want to see the things I didn't do. Yeah, during the first playthrough, you know, you can't really do everything first playthrough unless, like, you're a psychopath and you just want to do everything. That's what I started out with, like, surveying all the planets. Then I gave up when I hit like maybe 10% of them, and I'm like, all right, this is a lot, because it's literally just like I said, the same thing over and over again. You just have to go to a planet, scan all the minerals. If they have like locations, you go scan those. If there's animals, you have to scan all of those. If there's plants, you have to scan all of those. It's really like for each planet, you know. There are locations on the world, like that's just a planet. There are people who are occupying these abandoned warehouses on the planets. If you're even more OCD, like, you go in there, or if you have ADHD like crazy, you go in there and complete it, and then you go find the other one, and all over the planet. There's a Reddit post I saw where there's this guy, it showed the planet, it was just covered with icons, bro. Like, he went through so many fucking dungeons in that planet alone. It's crazy, dude, because you don't have to do every one of those. The only thing you get out of it, I think, is the XP from killing everybody and like weapon drops, because some of them they're randomized, and you get some good drops like from armor and weapon.
It's possible for you to get every skill.
Yeah, but that's more kind of story related. If you get a new weapon, yeah. I mean, if you get a new power, then yeah, like
Fallout has perks, and Skyrim has the they're not perks, but they have like the constellations, right? Like the level up system. So
yeah.
If I remember correctly, it's like for you, it's like more of like challenges. Like you get a series of challenges based off what class you are or whatever, and then from there it evolves. So my question to you is, like, I guess, is it possible to change classes or keep skills from other classes, not just from your powers, but like perks, I guess?
It's kind of, you could buy any perk. Like any of them, it doesn't really matter like what you start with, because you'll probably end up buying the perk anyway. But when like the more as you progress into the game, you can pretty much buy them all. So when you buy a perk, you get like the first level of that perk, and then you have to do the challenge to get the next level of the perk. For gymnastics skill, it's just like agility and stuff like that, and maneuvering. So the rank 1, you unlock the combat slide, right? So like when you run, you crouch and then you slide. And you also take 15% less fall damage. And so I'm on rank 2 right now. And for the challenge for rank 2 is I have to kill 5 enemies in 0G. And then I can level up. What I have right now is I move faster in 0G and I take 20% less fall damage. And then the perk after that, after I kill the 5 enemies, is I would be more stable when firing in 0G. If you have a ballistic weapon and you fire it off in 0G, you get pushed back. It's all random stuff like that. Like, you buy the perk, and then to level up the perk, you have to do the challenge. So it's pretty cool. A lot of it's pretty easy. Like, fucking, what are the one I told you? For gymnastics, like, I have to take the 100 fall damage.
Just 0G kills? 100 fall damage?
Yeah, dude, I literally have to fall from a height, and then, like, I can level up the perk. You get dislocated limbs and sprains, dude, if you fall too far. And you get, like, debuffs from that. I think if you have a dislocated limb,
your accuracy goes down.
No, your carry capacity goes down. And if you have a sprain, your oxygen meter runs out quicker, I think.
Do they have like stim packs, like things that let you just cure limb damage?
Yes, but it's not stim packs. Like there's med packs. There's no stim pack sickness, so that's pretty cool. You can just use med pack after med pack. The med packs don't weigh anything, but like all the subsequent like greater healing items, they weigh like 0.10 or 0.1. They don't give you any debuffs as far as I'm concerned. Like I don't use them like back to back unless I'm actually dying, but I haven't seen anything. But there are like other stuff, like you get bandages, you get analgesic poultice, you get stuff to like fix your sprains and shit. You can get lung damage, get burned, the sprained bones, and then I forgot what the last one was. And there are items to cure all of those.
So yeah, it's pretty much like every other Bethesda game. Your drugs for buffs and all that other stuff. You can get drunk. You can just heal yourself. You can just eat random food you find.
You can get addicted too. I forgot. You can get addicted to the stuff you use.
Of course, until you get a perk or whatever that lets you become resistant to addictions, or
There's an item that lets you cure your addictions and suppress them too. So like if you have an addiction, you just use this item, and then like it suppresses all your symptoms for like 10 minutes. A lot of medical stuff, like how in Skyrim it's like just like herbs and shit.
Yeah, you have to make a lot of things. That was the thing. Like alchemy was a big thing in that game.
Yeah, you make like chemicals here. So you're just putting like chemicals into compounds and then just taking that. Like I have my favorite one to use. I think that's what I'm addicted to right now. is it's called Amp. And what it does, it just increases my movement speed, so I'm just like running everywhere. So it's especially helpful when you're like on planets and scanning shit. Oh, and your jump height increases by like 2 times. I use that so much, man. I didn't think I could get addicted like that, but I guess I could.
I think when I play Fallout a lot, I don't use drugs a lot because I don't have the skill that gets me like resistant to addictions. But I use Buff Out and I use Jet. Jet makes things slow down for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Buff Out gives you like +2 to strength and +2 to endurance. I think it's 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So like I always just use those when I'm like running around, because this time around I'm just doing a whole melee build. Like I just run up on people with a little like chainsaw thing that you get, and the one that I found in the DLC, Far Harbor, there's a variant that lets you stagger. It's literally like a mini chainsaw, so I just run up to people with the chainsaw already active, and it just staggers them, and I just kill them slowly. It's not even slowly, I just like murder them very fast. It's kind of really easy. It's the best melee build I've ever done. Do you think you're going to do a new build entirely, or you're still going to use all of the old stuff that you're doing?
I'm trying to switch weapons around. I used a couple in my first run, and the second one I'm using like completely different ones. But they're still like the same type. Like there's rifles and shit. I'm using laser pistols more. I gotta have the sniper though. Like I have to keep it. That's a must.
Yeah, you're always gonna need long range.
Yeah, it's just so OP. Like you get sneak kills. I don't know about the melee. I feel like I should probably work on that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, I just like trying new things. I think the last time that I played Fallout, I was into the lasers. And all of the other Fallout games, they have a skill called energy weapons. So it actually like lets you put more damage into like laser pistols, plasma, the Gauss rifles, things like that. But in Fallout 4, they don't have that skill anymore. Now all of the laser weapons fall into like either automatics or non-automatics. So they work just like rifles do. And I remember that my last playthrough, I was doing that a lot. I'm not sure how much I'm going to play of this playthrough because I'm just playing to platinum the game. But if I ever decide to keep going, I think what I'll do is I'll just switch up and just start putting all of my points into like the grenades. I don't know if you get a lot of grenades playing Starfield, but it just it seems kind of like a good idea for me to just chuck grenades everywhere.
You get so many grenades, and there's this power that it's called Gravity Well. Like you shoot out like a fucking like kind of a black hole kind of thing, and it sucks up everything around it. Like I use that with a group of people and then just chuck grenades. It's so fucking fun, dude. Like if it's a frag grenade, it just hovers around the area for a while and then boom. It's so fun. It like explosions. It's fun as fuck, dude. Do you see yourself playing it?
Oh, absolutely. Like if I get a good computer or if I get an Xbox. Alrighty, well thank you for tuning into the podcast. And we will catch you guys next week.
Bye.